Picture this scenario, and I guarantee you've lived some version of this in the last month. You're scrolling through Instagram on a Tuesday night after a long day at work. You're tired. You're sitting on your slightly worn couch in your apartment that's fine but not fancy, and your feed is an absolute assault of prosperity. There's your college roommate posting from a beach in Bali. Your coworker just bought a Tesla. Your high school friend is showing off their kitchen renovation with marble countertops that probably cost more than your car. Your cousin is at some exclusive restaurant where the appetizers cost $40. Everyone is winning. Everyone is traveling. Everyone is upgrading. Everyone is living their best life. And you look around your apartment. You look at your bank account with its modest savings. You look at your 5-year-old sedan in the parking lot, and you think, what am I doing wrong? How is everyone around me so much richer than I am? Did I miss the memo? Did everyone else get a secret manual on how to make money that I somehow didn't receive? You feel like you're working hard, making decent money, being responsible, and yet you're the only one not living the dream. You feel broke by comparison. You feel like you're failing at life. Here's the thing that nobody wants to tell you, and this is going to sound like I'm making excuses for you, but I'm not. I'm giving you the truth. The people who look richer than you, about 80% of them are faking it. They're not richer. They're deeper in debt. They don't have more money than you. They have more credit than you. They're not winning the financial game. They're losing it in high definition with a better Instagram filter. My name is Uncle Dan, and I spend way too much time thinking about the illusion of wealth and why we're all trapped in a status competition that's bankrupting an entire generation. If you've ever felt like everyone around you is doing better than you financially, or if you've ever wondered how your friends afford all the stuff they have, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out, because today we're going to destroy the illusion. We're going to expose the difference between looking rich and being rich. And by the end of this, you're going to realize that the people you've been envying are actually the ones who should be envying you. Here's the fundamental truth that advertising, social media, and our entire culture is designed to hide from you. Wealth and the appearance of wealth are not just different things, they're opposite things. Real wealth is invisible. Real wealth is quiet. Real wealth is boring. Real wealth is a paid-off house and a 7-figure investment account that nobody sees because you're driving a 10-year-old Toyota. The appearance of wealth is loud. It's performative. It's expensive. And it's almost always financed. Let me give you some numbers that are going to blow your mind. According to a study by the Federal Reserve, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That includes people making 6 figures, 78%. Now, look around at all the people who seem rich. Do the math. Most of them are broke. They're just broke with better stuff. The average American has over $6,000 in credit card debt. The average car payment is over $700 a month. People are financing cars for almost 6 years, and we're not talking about struggling minimum wage workers. We're talking about people making $70,000, $80,000 a year who look like they have it together. They're driving $50,000 SUVs to jobs where they make $60,000. The math doesn't work, but the image does. This is the thing about the appearance of wealth. It's incredibly easy to fake in the short term. You want to look successful? Lease a luxury car. You'll pay $600 a month, but when you pull up, nobody knows it's leased. They just see the logo. You want to look like you're doing well? Book a week at an all-inclusive resort in Cancun, put it on a credit card, and post the photos. Nobody sees the 23% interest you're paying for the next 2 years. They just see the beach and the cocktail. You want to look like you've made it? Buy the designer handbag, the expensive watch, the name brand clothes, finance it all, make minimum payments, and from the outside, you look like $1 million. From the inside, you're drowning in payments and interest charges. And here's what makes this so insidious. The more people fake wealth, the more pressure everyone else feels to fake it too. It becomes an arms race of appearance. Your neighbor buys a new car, so you feel like you need a new car. Your coworker goes to Europe, so you feel like you need to go to Europe. Your friend gets a bigger apartment, so your apartment suddenly feels inadequate. We're all running faster and faster on a treadmill of consumption, trying to keep up with people who are also faking it, and nobody wants to be the first one to admit that they can't actually afford any of this. Let me tell you about a concept that changed how I see everything: the wealth iceberg. Above the surface, you see the tip, the visible signs of wealth. The car, the house, the clothes, the vacations. That's what everyone shows on Instagram. That's what everyone sees. But 90% of an iceberg is below the surface. The real wealth, the wealth that actually matters, is invisible. It's the emergency fund. It's the retirement accounts. It's the paid-off mortgage. It's the lack of debt. It's the investments quietly compounding. That's the part nobody photographs. That's the part nobody brags about. That's the part that actually determines whether you're going to be financially secure or financially screwed. The person driving the brand new BMW might have $200,000 in debt and $3,000 in savings. The person driving the 15-year-old Camry might have $500,000 in investments and zero debt. Who's richer? By every meaningful measure, it's the Camry driver. But who looks richer? The BMW driver. And in our culture, looking rich is what gets rewarded with status and admiration, even though it's the path to actual poverty. Now you might be thinking, okay, Uncle Dan, but what about the people who really are rich? My boss makes $300,000 a year. My friend's parents are legitimately wealthy. Not everyone is faking it, and you're right. Not everyone is faking it, but here's what's wild. Even among people with high incomes, the majority are still broke. A 2019 study found that 10% of people making over $100,000 a year have less than $1,000 in savings. 10% of six-figure earners are one bad month away from financial catastrophe. How is that possible? Lifestyle inflation. The more you make, the more you spend. The bigger the income, the bigger the house, the fancier the cars, the more expensive the habits, and suddenly, someone making $300,000 is just as stressed about money as someone making $50,000, because they've locked themselves into a $300,000 lifestyle. This is where we need to talk about the hedonic treadmill, because it's the psychological trap that keeps everyone stuck in this cycle. When you upgrade your life, your brain adapts to the new normal within about 3 to 6 months. The new car that made you so happy when you bought it, give it 6 months and it's just your car. The bigger apartment that felt so luxurious, give it a year and you stop noticing the extra space. Your brain recalibrates. What used to feel like a luxury becomes the baseline. And now you need the next upgrade to feel that same hit of satisfaction. This is why people who chase the appearance of wealth are never satisfied. They're on a treadmill that has no finish line. They're upgrading and upgrading, spending more and more, and their happiness never actually increases. They just feel more pressure to maintain the image they've created. And let's talk about social media, because this is the gasoline on the fire. Before Instagram, you only compared yourself to people in your immediate vicinity. Now you're comparing yourself to everyone you've ever met, plus influencers and celebrities. Your comparison pool went from maybe 50 people to 5,000 people. And you only see their highlight reels. Nobody posts about their credit card debt or the anxiety they feel checking their bank account. They post the vacation, the promotion, the new purchase. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel, and it's destroying your financial reality. A survey by Allianz found that 54% of millennials have gone into debt to keep up with their peers. Over half of an entire generation is borrowing money to maintain an image. They're paying 20% interest to impress people they don't even like. This brings us to the most important distinction you need to understand: the difference between being rich and acting rich. Acting rich means you spend everything you make, or more than you make, on things that signal status. You have the luxury car, the designer clothes, the expensive dinners, the big house in the right neighborhood. You look successful. You feel successful when people see you, but your net worth is either flat or negative. You're one job loss away from disaster. You're financially fragile, wrapped in an expensive package. Being rich means you spend less than you earn. You invest the difference, and you build actual wealth that gives you freedom and security. You might drive a modest car. You might live in a normal neighborhood. You might not look impressive to strangers at a cocktail party, but your net worth is growing every year. You have options. You have margin. You can say no to things you don't want to do because you don't need the money. You can retire early if you want. You can handle emergencies without panic. That's real wealth. That's financial security, and it's invisible to everyone except you. The people who look the richest are often the poorest, and the people who are actually rich often look completely average. There's a reason the book The Millionaire Next Door was such a revelation. The author studied actual millionaires and found that most of them didn't live in mansions. Most of them didn't drive luxury cars. Most of them didn't wear expensive clothes. They looked like everyone else. They just had a lot of money in the bank. They became millionaires specifically because they didn't waste money trying to look like millionaires. Now here's where this gets really practical, and this is what you need to do with this information. You need to stop using other people's outsides to judge your insides. You need to stop comparing your reality to someone else's performance. When you see someone with a nice car, your default assumption should not be, they're doing better than me. Your default assumption should be, they probably have a car payment that's killing them, and they're stressed about money. When you see someone taking exotic vacations, don't assume they're rich. Assume they either have good priorities and saved for it, or they're racking up credit card debt and will regret it in a year. You also need to get comfortable with being the person who looks less successful than you actually are. This requires a mindset shift that's incredibly difficult in our culture, but it's essential. You have to detach your self-worth from external validation. You have to stop caring what people think about your car, your apartment, your clothes. You have to get comfortable with people underestimating you, because here's the secret. Every dollar you don't spend trying to impress people is a dollar that's working for your actual future. The less you spend on looking rich, the richer you actually become. Let me give you a framework for thinking about this. Every purchase falls into one of three categories. Category 1, actual needs, food, shelter, transportation. Category 2, genuine wants that improve your quality of life. Hobbies you love, experiences with people you care about. Category 3, status signaling, things you buy primarily because of how they make you look to others. The luxury car when a reliable car would do. The designer clothes when normal clothes would function. This third category is where people destroy their finances. Here's the test. If nobody else would ever see this purchase, would you still make it? If you bought a luxury car but nobody would see you driving it, would you still buy it? If you wore expensive clothes but nobody would know they were expensive, would you still buy them? If the answer's no, you're not buying the thing. You're buying the validation. So what do? How do you break out of this trap when everyone around you is still playing the game? First, you have to make peace with the fact that most people are going to underestimate your financial situation. They're going to assume you're struggling because you don't have the visible markers of success. Let them. Their opinion doesn't pay your bills. Their opinion doesn't fund your retirement. Their opinion doesn't give you freedom. Your actual financial security does. Second, you have to find your people. Find the friends who value experiences over stuff. Find the community that celebrates financial responsibility instead of mocking it. Find the mentors who are actually wealthy instead of just looking wealthy. Surround yourself with people who are playing the real game instead of the fake game, and suddenly the pressure to keep up disappears. Third, you have to track your net worth instead of your income. Income is what makes you feel rich temporarily. Net worth is what makes you actually rich permanently. Most people obsess over their salary and ignore their net worth. They celebrate raises and promotions while their net worth stays flat or even decreases because their spending increased faster than their income. Start tracking your net worth monthly. Watch it grow. That number, the one that nobody else sees, is the only number that actually matters. And fourth, you have to practice gratitude for what you have instead of envy for what you don't. This sounds like self-help nonsense, but it's financial strategy. Envy is expensive. Every time you feel envious of someone else's life, you're one step closer to making a stupid financial decision to try to match them. Every time you feel grateful for what you have, you're reinforcing the mindset that you have enough, which protects you from the trap of always needing more. Look, I know this is hard. I know the pressure to keep up is intense. I know it feels like you're the only one not living the dream. But I promise you, the dream is mostly a nightmare that people are paying 23% interest on. The people who look the most successful are often the most financially stressed. The people who look the most average are often the most financially secure. The gap between appearance and reality has never been wider, and that gap is being weaponized by credit card companies, car dealerships, and social media platforms to keep you spending money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't like. You're not behind, you're not failing, you're not doing it wrong, you're just not faking it. And in a world where everyone else is faking it, being real feels like failure, but it's not. It's the only path to actual financial security. So stop comparing yourself to people's performances. Stop judging your worth by other people's stuff. And start building the invisible wealth that actually matters. If this video helped you see through the illusion, if you realize you're actually doing better than you thought, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that subscribe button for more content that breaks down the financial games we're all stuck playing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.